Seduction, confidence, and power, these three elements have influenced the course of human history more deeply than warfare, wealth, or even intellect. They aren't standalone abilities, but intertwined foundations of dominance. Mastering one often leads to mastering the others. Mastering all three makes you untouchable. Niccolo Machiavelli, frequently mistaken for a mere schemer, saw something more profound. His writings weren't just about rulers and governance. He dissected the nature of influence. To him, seduction wasn't limited to love, it was the skill of becoming irresistible in any field. Business, politics, friendship, or conflict. Confidence wasn't about pep talks, it was a shield. Power wasn't stolen, it was crafted through perception. Let's begin with the first move toward embodying this potent Machiavellian archetype, not someone who pursues, but someone who draws people in effortlessly. Someone whose self-assurance is impenetrable. A figure people follow, not out of duty, but because they're intrigued. Being the most good-looking isn't necessary, being the most captivating is. Machiavelli believed that desire stems not from gratification, but from ambiguity, from the thrill of something that might be yours, but isn't yet. As he famously said in The Prince, people are driven more by the fear of losing than by the promise of gain. What does this mean for seduction? You must cultivate intrigue, not chaos, but enigma. Don't be completely accessible. Don't reply to everything. Let your presence feel earned, not assumed. Be the unanswered question in their minds. Speak less than expected. Lock eyes, then look away first. Don't offer your smile easy, make them earn your warmth. Let your silence carry more weight than their chatter. People pursue what they can't fully grasp. They fixate on what's just out of reach. The moment you offer too much attention, approval, vulnerability, they begin to devalue you. Seduction isn't a gesture, it's a calculated use of scarcity. You've been misled. Society tells you that confidence comes from accolades, validation, or popularity. But Machiavelli understood confidence isn't something internal. It's a performance. You don't wait to feel powerful, you embody it. And when others witness that image, they begin to believe it. Only then does it begin to feel real to you too. That's why some people walk into a room and command attention, not because they're wealthy or well-known, but because their body language says, I don't need you, but you might need me. Machiavelli put it best. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few perceive who you truly are. So how do you project power before you fully possess it? Claim space physically and mentally. Don't withdraw. Move with purpose. Slow gestures convey composure, while rapid ones reveal tension. Speak after others. When they rush to fill silence, pause, let the discomfort work for you. Handle objects, your drink, your clothing, your pen with deliberate calm. Never explain yourself. Over justifying is insecurity disguised as openness. True confidence doesn't scream, it sits in quiet certainty, radiating from someone who understands their power and feels no urge to prove it. Even if your hands tremble beneath the surface, even if your mind races, your conduct becomes your weapon. Rehearse this persona long enough, and it solidifies into reality. Power stems from shaping how others feel in your presence. Machiavelli understood a chilling truth. Being loved isn't essential, being feared or admired is. But most importantly, being respected. True power isn't born from brute force, it arises from emotional mastery. If you make someone feel valued, they'll follow. If you make them feel seen, they'll protect you. If you make them feel inferior, they'll comply, often with a smile. To reach this level, you must first govern your own emotional responses. Never display envy, it signals frailty. Never show neediness, it reveals dependency. Avoid reacting in anger, it indicates you've lost control. And don't give out admiration too freely, it lowers your perceived value. When provoked, respond with chill detachment. When flattered, remain still. When insulted, look at them as if they've embarrassed themselves. Your reactions forge your strength. Anyone who recoils at criticism, pleads for attention, or oversmiles becomes instantly forgettable. But the one who appears unmoved while others scramble, that's the one they call formidable. Be the spider, not the fly. Build emotional snares. Imagine two people. One overshares, spills their ambitions, over-explains to gain favor, that's the fly. The other listens, gives subtle smiles, asks probing questions, says little, studies reactions, and waits, that's the spider. Machiavelli would never suggest overt domination, that's crude. Instead, spin webs, offer compliments laced with dual meanings, pose questions that unveil motives, mirror body language to establish trust silently. Pull back slightly when they get too close, they'll lean in. Let them believe they're in charge, even as they walk into your trap. And when they do, don't react, observe. This is seduction at its highest form. This is psychological strategy. This is where influence becomes control, not by directing people, but by shaping what they want. Already, we've dismantled conventional ideas of power. Seduction isn't about charm. Confidence isn't about self-esteem. Power isn't about dominance. It's about controlling perception. If you seem rare, people crave you. If you seem unfazed, they admire you. If you seem superior, they follow. Here's the unsettling reality. You don't even need to be those things in the beginning. You just need to perform them until the act becomes your truth. This game is mental, and its rules are unseen. But Machiavelli left behind the instructions. Now, we move deeper into the Machiavellian transformation, where seduction becomes second nature, confidence becomes indestructible, and power isn't pursued, it becomes your natural state. You've learned how to control external perceptions. Next is internal mastery, where your energy grows so undeniable that people adjust their behavior around you without understanding why. This is no longer about feigning power. This is where you become it. This is the moment you embody it. Emotional mastery is the highest form of confidence. Anyone can seem composed when life flows smoothly. But true Machiavellian assurance is tested in moments of tension, when you're slighted, dismissed, humiliated, or provoked. Most people fall into a predictable trap. They react emotionally, defend themselves, seek validation, raise their voice, lean forward, and offer too many explanations. Machiavelli's brilliance lay in his understanding that the most formidable individuals don't respond, they absorb. They choose when and how to engage. As he wisely said, a wise prince should attract attention through his actions, not his words. Emotional control isn't indifference, it's strategic discipline. It's the strength to experience chaos like everyone else, yet remain calm and unreadable. To cultivate this, let an insult hang in the air, don't correct it. Just offer a faint smile. When someone seeks to impress you, stay measured. Don't rush to offer approval. When something shakes you internally, wait before reacting, let time dissolve the intensity. With repetition, you become unshakable. People will feel it. They'll hesitate before disrespecting you, long for your validation, and be rattled by your silence because you've trained yourself to remain unmoved. That's the kind of confidence that holds under fire. Seduction isn't always romantic, it's power without pushback. When most think of seduction, they imagine chemistry or attraction. But Machiavelli viewed seduction as far broader. The ability to inspire allegiance, lower defenses, and be perceived as the solution to someone's inner longing, be it status, affection, affirmation, protection, rebellion, or influence. That's why history's most captivating figures, Cleopatra, Casanova, Julius Caesar, weren't always physically perfect, but they mastered desire. They recognized that most people wander through emotional haze, doubt, monotony, anxiety, and yearning. The Machiavellian seducer enters like an enchantment. You're not selling yourself. You're selling a sensation. You become the mystery that disrupts their boredom, the edge that wakes them from numbness, the validation that heals, or the test that demands they rise. Want to become magnetic in an instant? Speak to their desires, not just their words. Mirror their mood, then gently elevate it. Use vagueness to stir curiosity, then retreat. Don't spell everything, let them interpret. And most critically, make them feel truly seen. People become captivated by those who mirror their ideal selves not because you're exceptional, but because with you, they feel exceptional. Real power is crafted in silence and executed with accuracy. In diplomacy, combat, and intimacy, it's the ones who shout loudest who often fall first. Flashy power is fragile. Real power waits, then strikes. Machiavelli advised leaders to appear harmless while plotting with ruthless precision behind closed doors. It's not deceit, it's strategic invisibility. You must refine the skill of withholding. Keep your long-term intentions private. Conceal your next steps. Guard your core principles. Hide how deeply you care. This is an emotional coldness at self-preservation. When others can't predict your moves, they can't undermine them. When your limits are unknown, people assume you have none. Those who hold real power speak sparingly and watch attentively. As Machiavelli cautioned, he who builds on the people builds on mud. Loyalties waver, perceptions shift, and people lie. So ground your strength in secrecy and self-sufficiency. Trust slowly, reveal little, and always stay ahead. Because when your real power is finally shown, it should strike like lightning, sudden, undeniable, and irreversible. Become the root of someone's identity, and you possess them. This is one of the most psychologically potent and darkest Machiavellian strategies. Human beings crave belonging. It's instinctive, but most have no fixed identity. They derive it from surroundings, relationships, and authority figures. If you are the one who gives them that identity, you become essential. You don't control them through fear. You become the reflection through which they see their highest self. Tell them you're different. Assign them a role: guardian, rebel, mastermind, temptress. Reward them only when they embody it. When they stray from it, pull away and observe the panic. Eventually, they stop merely wanting you, they need you to maintain who they think they are. That's how cult leaders rise, how manipulative lovers ensnare, how monarchs breed loyalty. Machiavelli never told you to rule with cruelty, told you to master the architecture of control. And there's no tactic more effective than becoming someone's identity anchor. When someone associates your approval with their sense of self, you don't require chains. They'll imprison themselves. At this point, you've learned how to adopt the mask of influence, reshape behavior, and craft perception using psychological tools. But here's the twist Machiavelli subtly revealed. Wear the mask long enough, and it fuses to your being. Your actions rewrite your beliefs. Your stance alters your presence. Your discipline evolves into dominance. Your charm becomes instinct. Most people try to find themselves. A Machiavellian doesn't find, they construct. Habit by habit, move by move, until one day they no longer rely on techniques, they are the technique. This is what makes such people truly formidable. They don't pretend to have options, they are the option. And whether people realize it or not, they begin to orbit around them. Now that you've sculpted the exterior, it's time to conquer the internal domain where authentic Machiavellian power is consolidated. The empire you're shaping outwardly must align with the inner code you carry, because Machiavelli understood this fundamental truth. People are not dominated by brute force. They are dominated by the conclusions they draw about you. And when you shape those assumptions without a single overt gesture, you become unreachable. Master the subtle force of negative space. Say less, convey more. Most people scramble to fill silencio, justify, to charm, to explain. Most people treat silence as a void that must be filled. But in Machiavelli's realm, silence is not weakness, it's a strategic asset. Often, it's the loudest statement you can make. As he once said, a wise man acts immediately on what a fool delays. Think of the most intimidating figures, they speak infrequently. That's not by accident, it's by design. The less you say, the more people project onto you. They speculate about your thoughts, whether you're upset or if you're hiding knowledge they lack. This guessing game gives you influence without lifting a finger. Here's how to turn silence into a weapon in dialogue. Use longer pauses than expected, letting the stillness make others squirm. When someone seeks your approval, don't grant it instant, let them wait in doubt. If you're confronted or accused, remain composed rather than defend yourself. Stillness unnerves more than arguments. In group settings, observe before you speak. Say one significant thing, then withdraw. What's left unsaid will echo. People fixate on the blanks. And in those spaces, you become something greater than a person, you become a myth. Silence is the dialect of power. Turn rejection into leverage. Become the reward, not the chaser. Most people spend their lives trying to be accepted by family, friends, romantic interests, employers, and even strangers online. But approval is a trap. The more you chase it, the less power you retain. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He who desires least holds the most control. Power flows to those who can walk away. This isn't cruelty, it's sovereignty. It's not about being heartless, but about becoming essential. It means creating a reality where your absence is feared more than your presence is enjoyed. This is how you reverse the social current. When someone is overly eager to be around you, step back. If someone fails your standards, retreat, no explanations needed. If invited somewhere, delay your answer, let them feel what your presence costs. If insulted, meet it with amusement. Not defense, it reveals their failure to affect you. Rejection elevates you. Rarity commands attention. The highest form of allure is to be widely desired, but to choose only a select few. You don't chase, you attract. When people sense that they are replaceable but you are not, they adjust their behavior permanently. Psychological power begins with self-conversation. Every signal you emit through posture, tone, and energy starts within your internal dialogue. If your thoughts are clouded by insecurity, resentment, or fear, no external performance can protect you. You'll falter when tested, collapse when insulted, and crave praise to feel complete. The Machiavellian psyche works differently. It's not soft, but sharp. It doesn't whisper, "You're fine as you are." It commands evolve or be ruled. Reprogram your internal language. Swap "I hope they like me" with "let's see if they measure up." Replace "I'm anxious" with "this is how strength is forged." Switch "what if they don't want me" to "perfect, they just revealed their worth." And replace "why did they do that to me" with "I allowed it, never again." Machiavelli would remind you, no one is obligated to respect you. You must command it by becoming undeniable. And that journey begins with your inner dialogue, the words you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. In those moments, you are either your own greatest strategist or your most dangerous saboteur. Control the frame, don't argue. Redefine. Every interaction unfolds within a framing, invisible context that shapes how things are perceived. The individual who controls that frame doesn't need to win the argument, they've already set the terms. This is one of the most underutilized tactics in psychological influence. While the masses argue over facts, the Machiavellian mind reframes reality. For example, if someone accuses you of arrogance, say, confidence tends to intimidate the insecure. If someone interrupts, go quiet, then calmly ask, "Are you finished?" to reset the power balance. If someone gossips around you, respond with, "Why do you feel safe telling me that?" and instantly shift the discomfort onto them. Framing lets you script perception, and in a world where most people follow pre-written roles, the one who authors the narrative commands the spotlight. Don't accept someone else's frame, shatter it. Or better yet, design your own. Develop internal fortress energy. Let no one predict your next move. There is a rare kind of man who exudes a dangerous tranquility. He stays composed while others unravel, listens intently but reveals nothing, speaks less yet commands full attention when he does. That's fortress energy. Machiavelli believed rulers needed physical strongholds in today's world. That fortress must be your mind. Here's how to emanate it. Get comfortable in solitude. If you rely on others to feel complete, you're not power fuel. You're reliant. Stop spilling too much. Every early confession, every revealed ambition gives someone a tool to use against you. Train in silence. Read. Plan. Build. Sharpen yourself quietly. Let others assume you're idle while you prepare in secret. Refine your micro-reactions. When caught off guard, pause. Don't let your expression betray your thoughts. A fortress doesn't panic. It doesn't rush. It watches, it waits, and when it acts, it ends things. That kind of energy makes others doubt themselves, wonder if they've underestimated you, and respect you on instinct. And once that instinct is established, it's nearly impossible to erase. By now, you've learned how to influence minds, project confidence, and embed power into every movement, word, and decision. But one transformation remains: the leap from being merely respected to being unforgettable. This is what Machiavelli ultimately sought. Not fleeting control, but enduring command. Not just acquiring power, but leaving behind a legacy that outlasts you even through opposition. And now, we reach the summit, the final evolution of Machiavellian mastery. You've seduced without compromising yourself. You've built unshakable confidence. You've accumulated power through silence, scarcity, and framing. But there is one final elevation: immortality. Not in the literal sense, but in the only form that matters when it comes to power. Enduring psychological influence. To transcend being just a person and become a symbol. To become the kind of presence that lingers long after you've walked out of a room, that occupies the thoughts of others long after you've left their lives. This isn't about vanity, it's about effortless control. Let's complete the architecture. Become their benchmark, the one against whom everyone else is measured. The most powerful seduction isn't fleeting, it occupies permanent space in their minds. A Machiavellian doesn't aim to be liked in the moment. He aims to be unforgettable. He wants every new person they meet to be a letdown by comparison. You must become their inner gold standard. Here's how. When exiting someone's life, leave ambiguity, never closure. Don't explain too much. Let the mystery fester. When you arrive, be unlike anyone they've encountered. Say less, observe more, and keep your truths hidden. Be the one who left them feeling something they didn't expect. Awe, intimidation, validation, danger, hope. Make them laugh, challenge them, stun them, and then disappear. Why does this strategy work? Because the mind is drawn to contrast. If you are truly distinct even in silence, they will seek you in everyone else and find no replacement. That's how you haunt people, not like a ghost, but like a standard that no one else meets. Turn your presence into theater and your absence into a disturbance. There are two types of individuals: those whose presence fades into the background, and those whose absence feels like something vital has gone missing. Machiavellians design this effect. They plan their appearances, their words, and their exits with precision. Presence is not habit, it's a strategic asset. To develop it, appear sparingly but with impact. Don't make yourself too accessible. Scarcity breeds mystique. Enter rooms quietly, not with hype. Calm presence speaks louder than excitement. Leave before your worth begins to fade. Exit while they still feel the weight of your presence. When you go quiet, stay silent long enough that they begin to crave your voice. Disappear without notice, let the emptiness echo. It causes self-doubt. It stirs discomfort. It ignites longing, the realization that no one else evokes what you did. Your absence becomes resonance, a disturbance, a noticeable shift in atmosphere. And this is how legends are formed, not by being omnipresent, but by becoming an experience. When you nurture myth, allow others to complete the picture. One of Machiavelli's most subtle tactics was this: let others narrate your legend. Because when people invent the story, they always imagine you as more than you are. That's the power of implication, mythcraft, and controlled mystery. As Machiavelli famously wrote, a prince must learn how not to be good and to use that knowledge as needed. You don't have to correct gossip or justify your history. Your task is to manage what information you allow in and let others' minds fill in the rest. To do this, drop deliberate hints that provoke curiosity, then pivot the conversation. Allow others to overhear admiration about you, but never echo it yourself. Avoid explaining everything, let ambiguity become your ally. If someone falsely accuses you, answer with a quiet smile. That reaction keeps the illusion alive. Myths are potent because they belong to the audience, not the speaker. A reputation constructed too openly feels artificial, but if others stitch it together from subtle clues, fragments, silences, and half-truths, it feels authentic. And belief that feels earned is almost impossible to dismantle. Go beyond the persona, embody the archetype. You may have started this transformation aiming to be magnetic, composed, and influential. But that's merely the foundation. At the highest level, you must evolve into something timeless, an archetype. The monarch, the mystery, the ghost, the savior, the fire, whatever persona aligns with your strategy, you must live it so completely that others no longer see a human being. They see a symbol. You're not pretending to be confident, you are the figure who never breaks. You're not just elusive, you're the unforgettable one. This is the pinnacle of Machiavellian influence. When you stop being someone with qualities and become the embodiment of those qualities, you're not a person who intimidates, you are intimidation. You're not someone who draws others in, you are the pull. You're not someone who seems influential, you are the influence. And once you become that symbol, people begin to shape themselves around your presence.